Okay, welcome back everyone. This is going to be the next ranking video for Season 3 of MLP. Season 3 is weird, not gonna lie. Short season, this was when they could hit syndication, so we get some very, very, very odd stuff, especially with the last episode of the season, because this could have been the end of the series. Thank God it wasn't, because we never would have gotten Starlight Glimmer and so much good stuff. I'm really happy that this wasn't the end. But yeah, let's get into the first episode. That being the Crystal Empire Part 1. The Crystal Empire Part 1. So this is Sombra, and this is Spike being the hero of this episode. We get more cadenza immediately after we got cadenza in the season finale of season 2. Sombra is a really good villain. I like well, he's not a really good villain. Let me be more specific. Sombra would be a really good villain if they handled him better. He's very interesting, but they did such a poor job on him that he kind of sucks in canon. Sombra has a lot of potential in fan fictions because what they did to him in canon was dirty. He didn't even get to be part of the last season as far as the stupid Grogar crap and all of that dumb. Probably best for him, but I feel like they didn't do enough for him and he kind of just fizzled. But again, potential. They could have given him. They could have done so much stuff with Sombra. This is the first time we see him. The first episode, I honestly can say that it's great for cadence. Probably that's it, because not even Twilight succeeds here. But this is the first part. Like I said, and I always say in all of these, the way this works is it goes to the top, and then we compare and put on top or bottom. So obviously, the first episode, I think this episode is fine. Nothing special, nothing terrible. The climax of season 2 with Chrysalis is better. The start with Discord in season 1 is better, and the opening with Nightmare Moon is better than this one. This is the weakest one out of the 4, so that's what we're saying. The Crystal Empire Part 2. So this is more development for the first one. I will say it again, this episode is really funny. Because it's the episode where Twilight sees the door, the Sombra door or whatever, and she sees her biggest fear. And her biggest fear is failing the test that Celestia gave her and then being rejected as her student. And it's like, Twilight, you do realize that, like, Celestia could be killed, or your friends could die, or your family could die, or they could get sick and be like, there are so many much worse things than just failing a test. It's really, really weird. Probably because they don't want to mention death in this series, which is fine. But I've always thought it was funny because it's like, it reminds me of the Harry Potter scene with the Mirror of Erised, and it's like, okay, that makes sense because it's what they want the most. And then like this is like the opposite of the Mirror of Erised. It's like the mirror of the thing you want least. And I would assume that it would be a lot worse than just not passing a test. But we also get the part where Shining Armor chucks cadenza. I love that so much. It's really, really funny. We also get to see how great cadenza is. That makes me really happy. The only drawback is Spike becomes like the hero of the Crystal Empire, and that whole plot point is stupid, and it's used a lot, and it's like, Spike sucks. Sorry, Spike fans. For me personally, he's not great. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. If I wanted to see a dragon, I wouldn't be watching a show called My Little Pony. It's ponies I want to see, not dragons. I have shows where I like dragons, and I will watch them. This is not called My Little Dragon, so I don't really care for Spike. But Crystal Empire Part 2, I think, is better than the first part. We'll put it like right here at number 1. Yeah. Too Many Pinkie Pies. So, Too Many Pinkie Pies is a funny episode. There's really, really funny parts. Now, remember, of course, I'm doing all of this from my memory. I didn't rewatch these episodes, and I think that's the best way I could have done it, because the way I'm doing it now is just off of memory, the things that I remember from the episodes. So if I get facts wrong or whatever, it's because I'm just going off of, oh man, I remember this part. That episode must have been good because I still remember it now. And I haven't watched the series like all the way through in a while. So Too Many Pinkie Pies is really funny. We get the paint drying scene. I remember the part where the Pinkie Pie is crying and she's like, now I didn't get to do anything fun at all. And she's crying. That scene is really funny. I'm pretty sure this is the episode where Pinkie Pie jumps into the lake and she just slows down and goes in it all slow. And Rainbow Dash is like, how did you do that? That part is really funny. What I didn't really like from this episode, I don't really like plot devices that change a lot just for the sake of like a silly plot, right? So like think of Baby Cakes, right? They had Mr. and Mrs. Cake have a unicorn and a Pegasus. And the only reason they had Mr. and Mrs. Cake have a unicorn and a Pegasus is because they wanted to have the unicorn and the Pegasus hard for Pinkie Pie to take care of. Doesn't make sense that they had a unicorn and a Pegasus. It's just like, okay, here's a unicorn and a Pegasus. And it's like, okay, so then when anybody actually thinks about the story and thinks about the ramifications of what's possible as far as birth and all of that, it's just like, okay, so any race can have any race. Anything can happen, all because one writer was like, I just want this plot and I want it to be this way. And this episode is kind of the same, because it introduces the mirror pool, and the mirror pool is like really, really, really just off the wall and ridiculous. Like, it's like you can go in there and copy yourself double, and it's like, so if like Celestia or Luna were to do this, does that mean like there's dual, like if Discord, why would Discord not do this? Like, if Discord could do this, and this mirror pool has existed, and he was in existence before, why would he not just multiply himself infinite and, like, literally never be able to be defeated? And then, like, you also have to consider, like, oh, well, Discord was in the past 1,000 years, and maybe it didn't. And it's too many questions, all for the sake of a silly plot for a gag episode. I do like the message and stuff, but I just feel like the plot itself is so hinged on that whole the mirror pool that it's just like not worth it. But yeah, I enjoy the episode. I just don't think it's worth it as far as like the overall canon and stuff goes. So I'd put it like down here. Okay. This episode is called something Babseed or something. I don't know. Hold on. One Bad Apple. One Bad Apple introduces Babs Seed, who's cousins with Apple Bloom. I like Babs. I think she's great. I think she's a fun character. She is one of the only characters in the comics that I think was done justice in the Friendship is Magic series, the one that I read with Trixie. I think that one is really good. I think that whole comic is really fun. Don't say I hate all of the comics, because I don't. There are some comics that I really, really like. Yes, the majority I do hate, but that Babs one with Trixie is really good. This episode is pretty fine. Babs is a jerk to the CMC, hangs out with Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon because she's a blank flank, and then she bullies the CMC, and it's... this episode only has 2 moments that I really, really remember. Well, No, two moments. Yeah. Um, I remember the part where it's not a part. It's the song. Bab's Seed. I think it's called. We got a bully on our team. We got a bail Bab's Seed. Yeah, I think it's called Bab's Seed. That's a good song. I like it a lot. The CMC, I don't care for too much. I think they're pivotal and really important because I think that they fill a role that's really well. They're not for my demographic as much as the other characters are because they're young children and young children watching this would like them, and that's great. I think they really shine though when it comes to like serious songs. Like this song is a banger. Hearts as Strong as Horses is a banger. Um, and there's other ones that I obviously don't remember, but yeah, they have. So, whatchamacallit? The Perfect Stallion. That's another one that's a banger. I like the CMC songs a lot. And the second part of this episode that I really remember is I think she says veggie salad. Pinkie Pie's like veggie salad, and then like they crash. It's the only parts of this episode I remember. Um, but I do really like the Babseed song, so I'd probably put it right here. Um, Magic Duel. This episode is an issue for me. I like Trixie. I don't like Trixie here because I feel like this is where they really just took a dump on Trixie. Trixie should have went, and this is my opinion, Trixie should have went after she was made a fool of in front of Ponyville and she got ran out of town. Trixie should have went on a training spree and just started working her magic and trying to be really strong and studying a bunch and going into, and she could use dark magic, go into darker whatchamacallit, it's like darker tomes and stuff, and she gets all this strength and she gets all strong and stuff. Then she comes back and challenges Twilight and she beats Twilight. That would have been cool. That would have been cool development for Trixie because it makes her stronger, so she's a legitimate threat, and it makes her look determined. Like she is like, I am going to do that. Like Twilight is actually an enemy that she is going to put in an effort to fight against. Instead, we got the same thing as we got in this episode. Too Many Pinkie Pies. We get the Alicorn Amulet. And that's just stupid. The Alicorn Amulet is dumb. It's a dumb plot device for the sake of a single episode. They never used it again because it wasn't going to have overarching ramifications for the show. It wasn't anything. It was just literally a lazy plot device to make Trixie strong as Twilight without having to put any effort or anything into anything. How do we make Trixie as strong as Twilight? Alicorn Amulet? What's that? It's just an amulet. Gives you the power of an alicorn. Okay. Like, that's so crappy. Because that doesn't give Trixie any development. It's just Trixie found a dark amulet and used it to fight Twilight. Whereas Trixie actually putting in effort and learning shows character development. It shows, like I said, determination. It shows that she's angry at Twilight. This way, it's just, here's an amulet. And then, like, the fandom they just started going all stupid with the Alicorn Amulet, and it's with fanfics being like, oh, the Alicorn Amulet, the Alicorn Amulet is another thing that's just like really bad for the series because it's just so lazy. The only part I remember from this episode is like their duel the second time where like they're painting each other, like Big Mac is painted as Applejack or something, or I don't know. Pinkie Pie doesn't have a mouth. There's a big glass like dome over Ponyville. It's not a great episode. I like Trixie a lot now, and this is probably her worst episode. Like as far as her being interesting, and that sucks. Trixie deserves way better than this, and not just a one-time, here is a MacGuffin that makes you strong, and then we'll just get rid of it. I'm going to say this one is probably not. Sleepless in Ponyville. This is the Scootaloo episode where they go camping and Scootaloo is afraid of the dark and Luna's in it. I know that. Sleepless in Ponyville is a really good episode, I think. It's a really, really good message. It's really funny. I remember the part where Sweetie Belle is singing like 99 bottles of oats on the wall or whatever, and she sings like the whole thing, and she screams the like last word like super hard, wakes up everyone, is all pleased with herself, and then just immediately falls asleep. That part is super, super funny. I always remember that part. Luna. Oh, it's the headless horse too, I believe. She has the nightmare about the headless horse. Luna comes in. We get Luna. Luna is always amazing. Well, she's not always amazing. I love Luna. Canon uses her crappily, but she's still pretty decent here. She's still likable. Rainbow Dash is really likable here because she's so nice to Scootaloo. We get some fun Rarity stuff here because it's Rarity, Rainbow Dash, and Applejack, and then the CMC. Yeah, this is just a really good episode. Like a really, really, really good episode. Let me try and remember some other parts. I remember, I'm thinking this is the one where Rainbow Dash is holding Scootaloo, and it looks like Scootaloo is flying, but it's just Rainbow Dash holding her. I think that's this episode. But yeah, this is probably the strongest episode up to this point of this season. I think it's a great, great, great episode. Wonderbolt Academy. This episode is probably the polar opposite of Sleepless in Ponyville. So, Rainbow Dash goes to Wonderbolt Academy, and, like, it's already silly. Like, why is Bulk Biceps here? He's not a strong flyer. You guys literally use him after to be not a strong flyer, and why would he be at Wonderbolt's Academy? I think my real issue with this is that, like, Rainbow Dash, they're trying to make her look good, right? And Lightning Dust is, like, a jerk who's, like, only, like, she takes risks, but Lightning Dust is just Rainbow Dash. And, like, Rainbow Dash in this episode just started, like, being responsible because they wanted to, like, Rainbow Dash didn't get development here. Not here. Rainbow Dash did not develop up to this point, and all of a sudden, like, oh, she was being responsible, and then now she's showing that responsibility. It was just, Rainbow Dash isn't responsible at all, and now she's responsible because Lightning Dust is irresponsible. And that's really stupid. Like, I'm pretty sure before this we get, Read It and Weep, and, like, Rainbow Dash breaks her wing, and we have, like, Season 1 where Rainbow Dash is, like, literally, she crashes into Rarity's house, and she's like, I was practicing a new trick, didn't work out, and it's like, okay, so she just crashes, Rainbow Dash is crazy, 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 like, I'll just try whatever, but here, all of a sudden, because they need Rainbow Dash to be the protagonist of the episode, she now is like, I'm responsible, and Lightning Dust is a crazy pony that just tries, like, way too many crazy stuff. And then, like, turning Lightning Dust into a villain was, like, really stupid because, like, not that she didn't deserve to be a villain, but the way that they handled her, like, oh, the girls are coming on the balloon, and then, like, all of a sudden, the, like, tornado catches, it's all super contrived. Like, this episode is written poorly, and, like, it's like the polar opposite of, like I said, Sleepless in Ponyville. Sleepless in Ponyville is Rainbow Dash when she's awesome, and this is just a contrived story to try and make Rainbow Dash look good, and she doesn't look good here. It's just like, Rainbow Dash has never been this responsible. Like, she's not like this. You're just doing it to try to make Lightning Dust look bad. This episode is probably, Lightning Dust is cool. I don't think she's a bad character, but, like, I really don't like this episode. I'd probably put it, like, right here. Apple Family Reunion. I'm pretty sure this is Racist Barn, or Raise This Barn. We get Babs back again that fast? That's really fast. I think we get Babs back in this episode. We get Applejack being a crazy person trying to run everything just so. I think this episode has a good message. It's when you're together, it's not the time, but the people. I think it has a good message. I think Raise This Barn is a fun song, but for some reason, Applejack does this too. Just here, she starts doing it where she's got the super OCD oh man, I'm so worried about all of these things, and it's she never showed this either prior to this in season 2 or season 1. You look at say Last Roundup, right, in season 2, and it's she was just trying to be really good so she could win her the medal or whatever, the ribbons, and then everybody would be yeah, because Applejack is great. She was worried about disappointing them. That makes sense. And then in season 1 in Fall Weather Friends, she's competitive, and I don't know what happened in this 3rd season, but we got really, really weird all of a sudden character shifts for Applejack and for Rainbow Dash, and it's really weird. I don't know why they did that. I don't think this episode is terrible, but I don't think it's great. I do like Raise This Barn, but I wouldn't listen to a hoedown song a bunch. It's not something you can listen to outside. I mean, I'm sure there are country fans or whatever, but not for me. I probably put Apple Family Reunion right here. Spike at Your Service. So Spike at Your Service is really, really, really weird. Or bad, I guess, if you wanted to say bad or weird. We get back-to-back Applejack episodes, but this is a Spike episode, and it's really weird. The only part of this episode that I remember is the the part where they're trying to go at the end, where Applejack is you guys make a fake Timberwolf, and I'll act like I'm trapped, and then Spike will save me, and then that will absolve him from being indebted to me, and then we could go back to normal. But then the real Timberwolf attacks and swallows a rock or something, and he does the wait a second thing with because he's coughing. That part is so freaking funny. That is one of the funniest visual gags I've seen in MLP. I love that moment. That moment by itself is enough to not make this episode bottom. But honestly, the rest of the episode is garbage. Once again, Spike is not my focal point. I don't care about Spike. I don't really care about his episodes. Applejack has great episodes or garbage episodes. Nothing in between. And this is a Spike Applejack garbage episode. I don't remember anything about it other than that scene. So I probably put this right here-ish. Yeah. Keep Calm and Flutter On. Is that what this is? Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is Keep Calm and Flutter On. This is an episode. Celestia's just you girls are gonna reform Discord, and they're okay, and then Fluttershy reforms Discord, and it's it's so weird, right? Because I'm pretty sure, I'm almost certain that they were just we want to use John Delancey more, and he's willing to do more voice work, so we're going to use John Delancey more. And he's not even this isn't a climax episode or anything. It's nothing important. And so the issue with reforming Discord is that because he was trapped in stone, you didn't have the issue of where is Discord. And when, or not even where's Discord, but what happened to Discord? Because Discord is absurd. His power is insane. Like, the way they beat him doesn't make sense, and he's just dumb. Like, his power scaling is like crazy, and like when he's trapped in stone, it's like, okay, well, he's trapped in stone. But then like later, it's like, oh, how are we gonna get rid of him? Like when T-Rex around, and it's like, oh, he'll just trick him and then steal his magic, and it's like, okay. Because we, like, the one thing that bad writers do all the time when there's something that you can't, like, beat or you have to get rid of, they're either gone or, like, you just take their power away. That's it. So, like, with Tyrek, they were just like, oh, he just steals his power. And then, like, in the movie, they were like, oh, he's just gone. And then again later, they're like, oh, they, like, with the season 9 crap, they're like, oh, he was just... I don't even know what happened with the Pony of Shadows. Was Discord not there? I don't... So that's the problem with reforming him. That's the problem with him being free. Because if he's a villain and he's free, he's just going to do whatever he wants, and that's going to cause chaos. If he's a hero and he's free, then you have to eliminate him all the time whenever there is a large threat. And that's really, really bad for them reforming him. I do like Fluttershy and Discord together. I like the idea that she reforms him and that she's his first friend. I like all of that stuff. But reforming him probably was a bad idea. It was probably like the worst idea they could have had. But it's John Delancey. Who doesn't want to hear John Delancey more? Who doesn't want more performances of his? So it's like this hard, like this difficult situation. I do like the part on this when he's like, well played, Fluttershy, and he snaps and everything goes back to normal. I think that part's great. Yeah, I don't absolutely hate this episode or anything. I think it's like straight down the middle. I'd put it like right there. Would I put it above Too Many Pinkie Pies? Yeah, because the mirror pool thing is like really, really annoying to me. And yeah, I'd put it like right there. Probably at number 5. Literally right down the middle, 5 out of 10. Or, like, I guess not down the middle, but whatever. Just for sidekicks. So, this is just a pet episode. And it's a Spike episode. And it's a CMC episode. But they do this really cool thing where, like, these two episodes, like, connect. Because, like, here, Spike is taking care of the pets because the girls go to the Crystal Empire. And it's just really cool. Like, these are probably my, like, two... I like this episode a lot. I like this episode a lot. There's a really, really fun... Like, the part of this episode that I remember... Aloysius is really cool in this episode, too. But the really, really funny part that I remember from this episode is when they're, like, drawing off Winona, and she's under, like, this industrial-sized fan, and she's just getting blown into the ground. The visual gag there is really funny, too. I honestly, there's a really good... This is just a really, really good, like, episode, I think. There's a part where, like, Angel is running away from Spike or whatever, and they're hiding from the pets, and, like, Spike finally realizes that he was being a douche to the pets, and he's like, Angel just wants him to care, because Spike doesn't care. He's just doing it for the gems or whatever. And, like, all of the girls give Spike, like, gems to take care of their pets, like, while they're gone, like, babysitting or whatever. And it's a really good message. It's probably... as far as I can remember, the best Spike episode for me, outside of Ember Spike episodes where Ember comes along. Or even Smolder, because Smolder is great too. I really like Smolder and I like Ember. But yeah, I really like this episode. I think it's great. I think this episode is really fun. I'd probably put this episode like right here. 2 left. Games Ponies Play. We get so with this episode, the girls are in the Crystal Empire and they're preparing for like, it's Miss Harshwinny or whatever. Oh, this is the one with, is this the one with Rarity's hair? I think this is the one, not Rarity's hair, but I think it's the one where Rarity has to do Cadence's main, and then like it's because like Cadence is like hairdresser is. We get really pretty Cadence in this one. We get the 2468 sassy Twilight cheer. We get that part. I'm pretty sure this is the one where Rainbow Dash hits the glass thing and she's sliding down it. That's really funny. We get I don't know her name, but it's this one, the country like one that they think is like the person for the who's judging or whatever, but it's not. We get Miss Harshwinny. We get just a really, really, really fun episode. I really, really like Games Ponies Play 2. I think Games Ponies Play is probably my number one of this. Yeah, I think that Games Ponies Play is like... yeah, I'd put Games Ponies Play at probably number one. I really like Games Ponies Play. It's really, really, really fun. We get really, really funny moments with Rarity too. Everybody's fun. They're doing their best to try and impress this person who's not even the right person. I like Games Ponies Play a lot. This one is the Cutie. Let's see. Magical Mystery Cure. So Magical Mystery Cure is divisive, to say the least. It's understandable that they made this episode like this because it was syndication. This could have been the end of the show. It's 45 episodes, and they could just run infinite episodes over and over again. It's a one-part finale for a 13-episode season, so they couldn't even do a two-parter. It's a musical, so you're getting like a lot of songs, like what my cutie mark is telling me, like I have to find a way. You have a plot that comes out of nowhere, like they all just switched cutie mark. I don't really remember the explanation for that. It's just like, oh, I think Twilight was working on Star Swirl's spell or something, and she accidentally switched the cutie marks of everyone. It's way too short for the plot. Is literally Twilight switches their cutie marks. Their lives are ruined. She goes and sings a song. I've got to find a way or whatever. She realizes how to fix it, shows them who they're supposed to be, and everything is resolved. It's like really, really fast. The pacing is really bad because they only had one episode. I think the songs are good, but I think one song in particular just makes this episode special to me. A True Friend is on a whole different level. It's like up there for me with like This Day Aria and Magic Inside of You and the Smile Song and Flawless. Like A True Friend is incredible. Like the whole song is incredible. The townspeople, something they've been sad for a while. They march around. It would help a lot if you spread some cheer from here to Canterlot. Like I can remember that off the top of my head parts. When they all shout. When Pinkie Pie's like, "I want to see you smile," and they all shout Pinkie. Applejack's in trouble. We need to like Rarity's part. Everybody is perfect in this song. A True Friend. You might be able to hear me getting teary. Like, a true friend helps a friend in need. A friend will be there to help them see. A true friend helps a friend in need to see the light that shines from a true friend. Like, the lyrics are perfect. Like, it is such an incredibly positive and good song, and I love it. I think it's amazing. I think, I forgot to even address, this is where Twilight becomes an alicorn. I was annoyed with it when I first heard it all those years ago, like 13 years ago or whatever. And then I was like, no, this is fine because Twilight is better than her friends. Like, I know a lot of people think, oh, they're friends and they're equal, and I just don't. I thought that before, but then I, like, started to get older and smarter, and I was like, no, Twilight is clearly the superior in the group. She's not equal. Like, you have two Pegasus, Fluttershy, who's shy and nice to animals, and Rainbow Dash, who's fast and a douche, and that's like, okay, that's like a balance and equal. Then you have like Applejack and Pinkie Pie. Applejack is a hard worker who works on a farm, and Pinkie Pie has fun and throws parties, and she works at a bakery, and it's like, okay, that's kind of like a parallel, like, reflection of opposites. And then you have Rarity and Twilight, and it's like, oh, Rarity is a fashionista who's good at making dresses, and Twilight is literally a goated, ridiculous unicorn who could do pretty much anything and has saved Equestria multiple times. Like, I don't have a problem with Twilight being an alicorn. I think overall, over the whole narrative, it made sense, especially since you see where she ends up in being the ruler of Equestria. It was never a problem to me. It was a problem to me when I first heard it for a while, and then I was like, no, this makes sense. But yeah, a true friend is like, so my issue is whether or not a true friend makes this episode better. Because I will admit, this episode is far from perfect. This is not, it's a poorly paced mishmash of really, really fast stuff that happens and gets resolved way too quick. That is true. Not denying that. I understand that completely. But a true friend is such a good song that I think that just the fact that a true friend came from this episode means that I would be willing to put this as my number one over everything else because of how good that song is. Remember, this is my list, and I'm not saying objectively what the best episodes are, because, like, objectively, this episode is not the best episode of this season. It can't be. This episode can't be the best episode of, like, any season, because it is a two-parter plus plot smashed into one episode that's a musical that just goes by in a flash. That I'm not denying that. But it has that song, and that song, oh, and it has the Celestia song too, where Celestia is singing to Twilight. Yeah, it has a lot of good songs, but a true friend is like, for me, personally, a true friend is on a whole nother level. It's like top 10, 15, 20 songs of the whole series. And yeah, I'd put that, I think that's strong enough to put that episode at number one for this season. Let's see. Magical Mystery Cure, Games Ponies Play, Sleepless in Ponyville, Just for Sidekicks, and The Crystal Empire Part 2. That'd be 1 through 5 for me here. The Crystal Empire Part 1, One Bad Seed. A Bad Seed, that one. Keep Calm and Flutter On, I believe. Too Many Pinkie Pies. Magic Duel would be the 6 through 10. Bottom would be Spy Catcher Service, Apple Family Reunion, and Wonderbolt's Academy. Wonderbolt's Academy at the bottom, I think it's just because... See, I mentioned this. These two episodes are the episodes where they introduced character traits for both Rainbow Dash and Applejack that they just didn't have before. Applejack wasn't worrisome. And then, like, they expanded on that later with the episode with Apple Bloom, like, with her being terrified of leaving Apple Bloom alone. And it's like, okay, like, Apple Bloom is a CMC. Freaking Applejack has not cared about what happens to Apple Bloom. They do everything. They, like, do everything trying to get their cutie mark. And here, Applejack just being like that, it's just silly. And then Wonderbolt's Academy, Rainbow Dash is a reckless douche. She's always been a reckless douche. She crashes into Rarity's house. She gets launched across Ponyville by Applejack into Twilight's house. She's broken her like Rainbow Dash has been like, I am going to do stunts and it's fine if I get hurt. She's always been like that. And then they introduced Lightning Dust for the sake of developing Rainbow Dash's character, but at the same time completely ignoring who Rainbow Dash has been the entire series, all 50s, 52, 65, 60-ish, however many, I don't know what number this is, but all of those episodes. And that really annoys me. Yeah. The only reason, like, Magic Duel is up here is because I like Trixie. She's great. Too Many Pinkie Pies is funny. I like this relationship, and I think it develops well. And Babs is really fun. I think Babs is fun, and it has a really good song. But yeah, that would be my top 13. Season 3 was kind of a disaster. It was weird. Season 3 had, 13 episodes was already, like, really weird. 13 episodes. So like, think of, like, season 6, I believe? 7? 6 or 7. Celestial Advice. They literally did a single opening episode. I think that's season 6. 7? 5. 5 is Starlight. It's season 7. Because the end of season 6 is the one where they save Equestria. That's when Starlight's already good. The end of season 5 is where Starlight becomes good. Yeah, think of Celestial Advice in season 7, right? So that was a one-parter. It was a one-parter opening. They didn't even do a one-parter in this season, and it's a shorter season. They could have done a one-parter. They could have made the Crystal Empire a one-parter, and then made this a two-parter, and it would have made this way better. And it probably would have made the Crystal Empire worse. But, like, we just got Cadenza and Shining Armor in the last climax in season 2, episode 25 and 26. I don't know. They made weird decisions. But overall, I'd say this season wasn't terrible. It was a disaster. It was a disaster. But I still enjoy some of the episodes. These 4 episodes right here, especially, I think these are good episodes. Good to, like, great. Well, again, I'm just going in circles. This isn't a great episode, but A True True Friend is a goated song. So these 3 episodes are definitely good episodes, though. I think these are great episodes. Good to great to really good. Yeah. So next time on this series will be season 4, which is like... what is season 4? Do I even remember anything from season 4? Season 4 is Tirek. Tirek is the end. Oh, and the opening is Princess Twilight Sparkle or whatever, where they do the stupid, like, tentacle things that... season 4 is going to be a doozy because I don't remember like much stuff I like from that season. But yeah, hopefully you join me. I hope you had a fun time if you're still around. Thanks for watching. I appreciate everyone who watches. I appreciate every minute of watch time I get. I appreciate likes, subs. All of that stuff means a lot to me. It helps out. Yeah. Bye.